Friends, we are starting now. Today is the 188th Friday group meeting. Recently we released this Friday group Freedom Fighters, Anthology of Freedom Fighters, and we have given an opportunity to every author who has contributed their articles in that. So today is Sunita Ojha. Freedom fighter name is Chotanagpur Kesari Ram Narayan Singh. Second is Kavya, Jhawar. Name freedom fighter name is Lala Lajpat Rai. Third, Sneha, Kalita. The freedom fighter name is Deshbhakta Tarun Phukan. The fourth is Jyoti, Parashar. The freedom fighter name is Babu, Moolchand, Jain. For each one will get a 10 minutes time. And before starting, I request Vijay Ansariya, Senior Advocate Sir, and former Vice President of this Bar Association, will say this initiative for 1 or 2 minutes. Then we will start. Vijay Ansariya Sir, now you take it.
Thank you very much. First of all, I must congratulate G.Seshagiri Rao sir. Friday group has become an institution in itself, and that is judicially recognized by 3 senior judges of the Supreme Court. Give a big hand. I don't think there is any other academic group, at least in the lawyer community in the country, which does these academic deliberations on a regular basis. 188 is a big number. It's really a great job, and now we have varieties in it. Now a new chapter is being added today. Friday group has published this book, Anthology of Articles on Lawyers' Role in India's Freedom Movement, released by Justice Gawai, Justice Narasimha and Justice Viswanathan of Judges of the Supreme Court about 2 weeks back. The hall was full. There was even people standing on the sides. They have to push and then stand. It's a big achievement, and it has articles which we revered greatly, that because of whom it has 68 articles of the legends of the legal fraternity who contributed to the freedom movement, and that's how the legal fraternity has been respected widely. And today we will have among the 68 about the legal luminaries who contributed in the freedom movement. We'll know about them from our 4 colleagues today, and it's a good initiative. It's a new initiative which you have started, Mr. Rao, and wish you all the best. Of course, this should be a part of it. Our main focus has to be on the legal learning, which will go on. This is an additional thing which we have got, and it's a commendable job. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Ansariya sir. So nice of you. You came all the way and to give. We are highly grateful to you. The way you expressed and other things. It's now I request Sunita Ojha ji will start speak the freedom fighter's name and other thing. Just. Right. Yeah, now. You 1 second. Huge claps to Sunita ji.
Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to all the members of the Friday group. Today I speak with a sense of gratitude. My association with Seshu sir has been extremely educating and inspiring. In fact, I remember when for the first time he asked me in the corridors to write something about unsung heroes from your region. Now, I come from the part of the country which gave the first president, a lawyer, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. The first the chairperson of the Constituent Assembly was also from the state. But when it came to Seshu sir's instructions for the article, it was very, very clear that it has to be someone who has not been remembered by history so much. So you need to work a little more. And secondly, the person should be a lawyer who has participated in the freedom movement, or a lawyer who took up the causes of those who are fighting the freedom movement for us. Now this actually made the task a bit difficult, because the tragedy with the unsung heroes is also the lack of material, availability of material about them. If you start to do research, there aren't much documentation, there is not much of remembrance, and which makes it a bit of a difficult task. So now my research took me back. I got in touch with the local, the bar, which is the Jharkhand, the Ranchi Jharkhand Bar Association. I started talking, and I was surprised by most of the time people would speak about those who were involved in later on, which is like a Jharkhand movement, establishment of a state, etc. But there isn't much discussion with respect to those who participated in the freedom movement. I couldn't get much help. Again, Google, writing, etc. And talking to one person from one to another, I was connected to a professor in a remote university who happened to be the grandchild of the freedom fighter about whom then I decided to write. Now, when I was able to figure out that this is not the name which is known, and he was a lawyer, and the two criteria were met, I immediately wrote to sir saying, sir, this is what I want to write about. Could you check and tell me if this name is taken? Within 1 minute, sir responds with a list saying, no, this name is not taken, you can write. Next 2 days, it was constantly about talking and trying to get material on it. And eventually the book which I got, somebody had written about his life. He himself has written a book which is called Swaraj Lut Gaya. Immediately after 7 years of independence, he wrote that book, which is considered as it's sort of political thought on what was the dream of Swaraj for those who were fighting, and then how they looked at what emerged after the independence. So it is on that line. But there was one book which I found, which is written on him. And you will be surprised that this book was not in physical form, not available anywhere. But then I found a video where the pages of the book was actually, one page after another. It took me quite an effort to, sort of stop and read and then proceed, stop, read and proceed. And in fact, the language was that I learned that this is also a local dialect, which is Kharota, spoken by the people in particular in the Chotanagpur region, Chatra to be specific. And that's how I was able to put down some information about the legend. And also in the process, when I started talking to the family members, and they were very kind enough to share letters which were written by our president, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, to Babu Narayan Singh, letters written by Jawaharlal Nehru to Babu Narayan Singh. And then there were also his participation in the Constituent Assembly. There was that he spoke about, and it really took me by surprise that having studied in that area up to class 10, this name was not really sort of mentioned. It's not really. So what is that we have done over a period of time is the legacy, such rich legacy, the lives which were devoted to the nation, the process of getting freedom. They haven't really been remembered, which is a sad, because how do we connect back to our, how do we bring that sense of pride in who we are today if we cannot look at them and see what made them do these amazing things, look beyond their personal comfort. And this person, Babu Narayan Singh, he came from such a poor class that even having, for the first time when he took admission in Ripon College, that was one college, so the Calcutta University was the university which was a common university for the entire Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. And in fact the Patna College, Law College also, which produced several legal luminaries and those who participated in the freedom movement, was affiliated to Kolkata University. So first time when he took admission in Law College, he had to drop because he didn't have financial means. Staying away from home at that point of time, it involved a cost. It does even today. But his love for the law was so much that after working for some time, he comes back. He joins Patna College, and he completes his law. He comes into contact with people like Dr. Rajendra Prasad, etc. And after he practices in Patna High Court, and this is again one piece of learning that I had, the moment a district court was established in his district, which is Chatra, he moves back. Now we all come here, but how many of we actually take the courage of moving back? Because those are the stories, those are the sufferings that has actually inspired us to take up this profession, which is not just a means to like a livelihood, it's also a means to make a change in what as youth, as young adults, which we saw that we want to see in our society, in our country. So the one of the thing that really touched me about him was he does not decide to stay back in Patna, which was the hub of the activity, but he goes back. He goes back to his district where people need his legal knowledge, legal expertise much more. Now and there are several, I have tried to put several of these things together to weave a kind of a story, and couple of things like, for example, India's like a national congress at that point of time was the body which was heading the campaign for the freedom, and their Ramgarh session is landmark, and one of the reason why is it landmark is the independent resolution was passed in Ramgarh session. Now that Ramgarh session, because of the internal fight within the Congress at that point of time, was about to be called off. And Babu Narayan Singh, he travels from Chotanagpur, he goes to Bardha, meets Gandhiji and convinces, don't do this. This is our historic opportunity. And that session was held, and this is where Gandhiji gave him the title of Kesari. Chotanagpur Kesari, this is a lion of Chotanagpur. Chotanagpur is the plateau, name of the plateau. In Constituent Assembly, when I had an opportunity to look at the debates that he has participated, and he spoke about the local self-government. He was also a member, because he was a member of the he started participating in the local self-government kind of structures. So here he speaks very vociferously about how the corporation should have enough ability to raise fund in order to do what is expected of them, and he speaks about it in the Constituent Assembly. Later on the issue of, in fact, there was a difference that happened with Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, our Prime Minister, when the tensions were mounting on with China. And at that point of time, during a Constituent Assembly debate, he makes a statement. A debate was going on, and I'm just sharing it because I just want to relate it with one letter which Pandit Nehru wrote to him. So he speaks in the parliament that when the Rome was burning, Nero was... that's a well-known phrase, yes. Now, after this incident, Pandit Nehru writes a letter to him that I was informed that this is what... And there was a specific question put to you that are you referring to Nero or Nehru? And you said, I leave it to the members of the Constituent Assembly to take their own call. And so the letter goes on. I have it, I can share with the group. But two things I, as a both as a lawyer and as I took my takeaway from the whole process. You could have difference of opinion. You could speak your mind, and yet there was a dignity, huge amount of dignity, huge amount of respect for the words that you utter. And that is when I was going through some of these letters, I realized that they were, of course, at some point of time they were standing on the two different but yet the respect with which each one would address the other is something that is, if we can go back, look at them, look at those the words, and get some sort of an inspiration. We live in a time when everything is instant. People give their opinion instantly. People are instant in terms of judging. You have Twitter, you have Instagram, etc. Now, as a lawyer, we dedicate our lives to words, to language, whether it is drafting, whether it is arguing, it is articulating our thoughts, putting our point of view. The words and language is so important for us. We can that's how we articulate in terms of when a client comes to us and puts before us a raw material in terms of jumbled up facts. We use the power of word. So I think in the process, one of the, coming back to these various letters which are not documented, which are not put together in either any of the libraries. I checked with the local resources which were available. There aren't there. So they are just available with some family members, etc. Now, we need to have some sort of an effort at a national level, and this particular initiative, which was taken up by Friday Group under the leadership of Seshu sir, it has in fact inspired many of us to turn around, look back, go back to our roots and find out who were the people who took the call and moved beyond their personal, individual, familial responsibilities and thought about society, country, and what was their thought process, what inspired them, how they. So, I thank sincerely from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity, and I congratulate sir and the entire group. We have to keep this tradition of learning alive. We have to keep this tradition of learning, sharing knowledge, because that's where our future lies. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Okay, please. Can I hear, please? Thank you very much, Sunita ji. Nicely explained about Narayan Singh ji. We are very grateful. The way you made research and other things, met family members of grandchildren of that person. We are the research. We are appreciating your efforts. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now I request you can sit. Kavya Jhawar. The freedom fighter name is Lala Lajpat Rai. She is one of our youngest Friday group member. She has written very good article. So thank you. Just you sit. She will come. Lala Lajpat Rai, her freedom fighter's name.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, as introduced by Seshu sir, I will be speaking on the topic of Lala Lajpat Rai, a proud son of a soil and a warrior of India's freedom movement. Lala Lajpat Rai, a name which needs no introduction, but because the efforts which he made towards the cause of India's freedom movement are immense. But somehow they have been lost and people have forgotten what all good things he has done. So today my effort would be to go back in the time and put into place, what all he has done, so that every one of us can cherish and take pride upon whatever those freedom fighters, especially the lawyers, freedom fighters have done for India's independence movement. Lala Lajpat Rai, a name with an immense contribution in India's freedom movement. Someone who earned the reputation of notable cynosures, a leader of India's freedom movement. Someone who was also famously party of famous triumvirates of Lal, Bal and Pal, as we all know, the famous triplet group, who made immense contribution towards achieving of Purna Swaraj, that is complete independence, which I'll be coming on later on. So initially my effort will be to give a brief background about history of Mr. Lala Lajpat Rai. Then I'll be connecting it with the legal profession and vis-a-vis towards the effort of his India's independence movement. So Lala Lajpat Rai was born on January 28, 1865 to Munshi Radhakrishnan Agarwal and Gulab Devi Agarwal. His father was a teacher in whose school he studied. Later on in 1880, he joined government law college to pursue his law studies. It was during his tenure in law college that he got the flavor of politics at very first instance, which motivated him to join Arya Samaj. That was he was particularly influenced by Swami Dayanand Saraswati's Hindu reformist movement. But however, it was for a very short period. He later on quit everything. He later on, after passing out from the college, he went back to Hisar and started his practice of law full time in 1886. Now, what he did was, in Hisar in 1886, he established two things. Firstly, he established Bar Council of Hisar. Secondly, he also established the Indian National Congress branch in Hisar, Haryana. So that is how he jumped into politics. Now, after being a founder of the Hisar INC, Indian National Congress, he used to attend various conferences and seminars which were held by the political parties. Now, it is at this time that he came to know about how badly the Indians were treated by the Britishers. He came to know about British supremacy. He came to know about their lawlessness, their ruthless attitude towards Indians. So it was after being conversant and having first-hand information of all these ruthless activities and the bad taste of being treated of Indians, he thought of quitting law, and in 1914 he actually quit law to join India's freedom movement full time, to join India's freedom movement in full swing. Lala Lajpat Rai was a person who used to speak whatever was in the heart. So he was not afraid at all to sort of make derogatory statements against British government, especially motivating the youths to come forward and join in the cause of freedom movement, because the attitude of Britishers is not at all tolerable, and definitely we should all come together, unite together and take efforts for India's independence movement. Lajpat Rai knew that merely protest and demonstrations would not serve the purpose, and that is why he thought it, and he even executed the idea that it is important to make the situation of India, make people around the world aware about the situation of India. For this purpose, he travelled in Britain in 1914. He later on went to USA in 1917. He interacted with the governments there. He interacted with the locals, and to sort of portray the ground reality and not just the creamy thing which was being shown towards the world, upar se. So this was his effort. In 1920, he even wrote a 32-page petition to the Foreign Affairs Committee of the US Senate, highlighting the British maladministration, its mismanagement, and the Indian people's sadness, and more importantly, their quest to achieve freedom. So his effort was to get international recognition and support from people everywhere, so that finally India could achieve independence in true sense. After 1920, writing to USA and doing all sort of demonstrations there, when he came back to India, the ruthful Jallianwala Bagh massacre had already happened. So he led severe protests. He led various demonstrations across Punjab as a sort of agitation to the British governments. In 1920, it is also the year when Lajpat Rai was elected as the President of Indian National Congress. Now, coincidentally, it is also the year when Gandhiji launched the non-cooperation movement. So we all know about non-cooperation movement and efforts to let the British out of the country and to say that no, enough is enough and we would not be governed by you now. So what has happened was, there was a tussle here between Lajpat Rai and Gandhiji to the effect that after the massacre of Chora Chori movement, where police opened ruthless fire on the non-violent protesters, Gandhiji decided to abort the non-cooperation movement. However, Lajpat Rai was very much against this and stated that no matter what, we should continue with the movement. And because of this tussle, he left the Indian National Congress to form his own own party, a new party, Congress Independence Party, to support the cause of India's freedom movement by whatever means he had at that point of time. Lajpat Rai, as I have already stated, was a famous and he was a very much a party to the famous triumvirates, the trio of Lal, Bal and Pal, and his effort was to achieve Purna Swaraj. So all three of them came together to achieve the concept of Purna Swaraj and make that happen into reality and not just a dream. Now the Britishers, obviously, as they ought to have done something here also. What they did was to suppress Lajpat Rai, so much demonstrations and the way he was influencing public. They tried to frame him in a conspiracy by deporting him to Mandale jail in Burma. So I'll give a brief of this conspiracy because it has a flavor of legal professional thing also, along vis-a-vis the independence movement also, his effort in independence movement. So what has happened was in 1906, a bill was passed by the British government at that time called Canal Colonization Bill. The bill stated that any person, any Indian who died without a legal heir and he left property, the property would automatically go to the British government and they would have the authority to sell the property to anyone, whether he be public or a private developer. So this bill was severely and sternly protested by Lajpat Rai along with others, stating that it is against the interest of people in the society, especially Indian people and the military pensioners. Looking to this protest, the British government thought it is better to suppress this person because he is now becoming uncontrollable. So they framed him in a conspiracy on the charges of subversion, that is defining the authority in power, and they tried to send him to Mandale jail in Burma. However, he came back clean chit, stating that the court there found that there was no sufficient evidence to incriminate him. But a important legal event happened here. A newspaper called Englishman covered the entire article stating, and I would quote, unquote, Lajpat Rai has been guilty of tampering with the loyalty of Punjab Sepoy. There can be no possibility of doubt that his release for years to come would only be a dangerous act of criminal folly. So these were the words which were used by the newspaper. Lajpat Rai approached the Calcutta High Court stating that these are defamatory allegations and asked for compensation. One more interesting thing here to be noted is the Calcutta High Court judge was Justice Fletcher, a British nominee at that time. He, even though he awarded the compensation and all, stating that yes, it is defamation, but he wrote his judgment stating very important aspects of what position Lajpat Rai held in society during that time, and I would like to quote unquote. He said the plaintiff is a pleader practicing in the Chief Justice of Punjab at Lahore, where he appears to enjoy a considerable professional reputation. He enjoys and has played parts in religious and charitable movements. He has played active part in politics, and he is a man who has considerable importance and influence. So this was the stature which this man has created, as he was respected not only by the Indian community and people surrounding him, but also the Britishers. That was the aura which this person was carrying. His most important role which he played was during Simon Commission. We all might have heard about this, that in 1928 the British government appointed a commission called Simon Commission under the chairmanship of Sir John Simon to study the political situation in India and suggest certain reforms which can be implemented. One thing to be noted here was that even though this was meant for the improvement of Indian society, none of its members was from Indian origin. So this triggered a lot of protest everywhere in India, and everyone chanted the slogans of Simon go back, Simon go back. In 1930, when the commission went to Punjab, Lajpat Rai led fearful demonstrations there, and even though the demonstration was a non-violent one, the superintendent of police at that time, James Scott, ordered his staff to lathi charge, and they specifically and diligently targeted Lajpat Rai. Now, because of a lot of blows being hit on his head and chest, he could not survive, and he later on succumbed to his injuries. But see the dedication of this man. On his deathbed, he denied that he would not go to the hospital, and he stated the following words, which I would like to quote unquote. I declare that the blow struck at me today will be last nails in the coffin of British rule in India. This was the dedication of this man, that he even did not care even if death would come, it would not matter, because he wanted to fight till his last breath for the freedom of his country, his nation India. In his legacy, today his birthday, that is January 28th, is celebrated as Martyrs Day in Punjab. He has also been given the title of Punjab Kesari, that is Lion of Punjab, because of his efforts towards the freedom movement. Now, I think many of us might be under misconception that his name was Lala Lajpat Rai. However, his name was just Lajpat Rai. He was given this prefix of Lala by the people surrounding him as a matter of respect. So we know him as Lala Lajpat Rai, and so has the entire world addressed him as Lala Lajpat Rai, someone who is admired by all, respected by all. Lajpat Rai's contribution towards the freedom struggle was not only remarkable but unmatchable in every sense. His determination, his willingness to go to any extent, his vocals to stand up and say that no, whatever the Britishers are doing wrong, and his influence on the youths to make them all come together and fight for the freedom movement is immense and unmatchable. What a great man, what a great revolutionary leader, and what a warrior. But for his efforts, the dream of independent India wouldn't have been fruitified in reality. This was one of the examples of the efforts made by the legal community in the quest for India's independence movement. But for the efforts of all these revolutionary leaders, we wouldn't have been a part of a historic book as has been come, and a historic series of lectures commencing today, which will be remembered and cherished for all times to come. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Yeah, please, sir.
We heard Sunita ji, dignity, and we heard Kavya with a great force.
Yes.
So whenever we need youth to fight, Kavya is there. We need dignity to fight, Sunita is there. Great contribution.
Thank you, Kavya. So nicely explained about Lala Lajpat Rai. Very great efforts for a very youngsters. I mean, the way you this thing, our endeavor, whatever we have taken initiative, 100% we success. The way she explained, my sincere opinion. Now I request third speaker, Sneha Kalita. Her freedom fighter's name is Deshbhakta Tarun Phukan. Please come, Sneha.
First, let me just take this picture.
Just 1 second. Just.
Well, good afternoon to everyone, my senior colleagues, Friday members of the Friday group, Seshu sir, Hansayo sir, Pajwani sir, and all my dear friends and my colleagues. Thank you, Seshu sir, first of all, for your kind words, and I'm extremely honored to be part of this session of Friday group, which is dedicated to a fraternity of unsung freedom fighters. And also, I take the privilege to say that the nascent Friday group has not only confined its goals of dissemination of knowledge, legal knowledge, limited to this four corners of a Supreme Court Bar Library, but also have rolled down across the globe and enriching thousands of people, and especially the law students and the budding lawyers. I really appreciate the effort, sir. And as Hansaya sir have already said, it has become institution in itself. Now, coming back to the session of freedom fighters, where the Friday group has launched the book, and to take the liberty, sir, I have taken certain points because it is a 3-page note. I've written it, and to shorten it down and to crisp it to the 10 minutes. So I would take you to the session, and I think every freedom fighter gives something unique to the effort to make the country, India, to a lovely nation to live in. And we are more so, we are very proud and inspired when we see our own legal fraternities are amongst the freedom fighters. That's quite an inspiration. And one of the most, I must say that one of the most important lesson that can be learned from this legend is that the importance of standing up what you believe in. I think that is one thing when I was doing the research work, because as rightly said by Ojha ji, that you don't find much of materials of these unsung heroes, and I think Friday Group would be the platform to give this relevant information. And I really hope that this unsung heroes become a prominent figures in everyone's mouth. And yes, now coming back to Sri Tarun Phukan ji, is one of them. I have jotted down certain points, so I would really wanted to read it so that I don't miss anything about him. Tarun ji was one of them who is a prominent legal luminary in the northeastern region of India, who was a symbol of patriotism and known for his unprecedented involvement in the freedom movement era. So it was quite he had really taken a level high when it comes to the freedom movement. And in the northeastern states of India, particularly in Assam, he was popularly known as Deshbhakta, as he was a patriot who wore his love for his country on his sleeve. So that's sort of person he was. Now, giving some background of his childhood is that he born on 22nd January 1877 at Bharalomuk, Guwahati, Assam. His father name was Sri Balram Phukan, the king of Bijni, and his mother name was Bhagirathi Devi. He did his schooling from Cotton Collegiate School in Guwahati, and after getting a scholarship, he went to college, Kolkata, Presidency College, Kolkata, for his higher studies. And because of his immense love for doing something for the nation and passion and craving for law, he thought, let me go to London and studied barrister, because that time obviously in India there was not much of facility to learn law, and he went to London where he studied law, and I must say that he earned bar at law degree, and despite tough challenges he made it as the third barrister of Assam. And after returning from London, he was practicing in Calcutta High Court. As I think Mr. Hansari sir also knows that that time there was no High Court of Assam, so it was a presidential court in Calcutta High Court. Now, coming to his new chapter or new life on Deshbhakta, how he grew himself as a Deshbhakta. Because of his immense love for his country, and also he gained a lot of inspiration from Gandhiji, Sri Phukan chose to give up his flourishing practice. He was one of the leading council at that point of time in Assam, but he said no, like something is missing. He really wanted to follow his passion, and he did it. And now Sri Phukan chose to give us his flourishing practice and to join the freedom struggle. And in the year 1914, he first participated in the freedom movement against the British. In the year 1917, he became the part of delegation team who have marched to Montego Reforms Committee to demand autonomy of Assam. And in the year 1920, he served as a special member of then political organization called Assam Association. That time we had only Assam organization and association that point of time, one single political party there. Sri Phukan also participated in non-cooperation movement against the Britishers, which gave an uncompromised momentum in Assam, and then became and a lot of people joined him as he really followed the light of passion, urge to make India free from Britishers. And he was, and also during that point of time, he was imprisoned. He was imprisoned for so many times, and one particular time he was imprisonment for 1 year. So he really, sacrificed his career, and he really had dedicated his passion for his work in the freedom struggle. And he also was very trusted companion of Gandhiji. So he played a very crucial role in establishing the National Congress branch of India in Assam in 1921. And in the year 1926, he became the chairman of the Seth party. Sri Phukan became a prominent figure of Swadeshi movement and advanced burning of foreign goods. And he also popularized the use of gadhi, khadi, and also hand-woven clothes. I must say that this hand-woven cloth, it's still now, it's a new textile, and it has gone into a different level in Assam, and they are gaining popularity. And also he actively protested the government's, that time the British government persecution of Chandpur plantation laborers, and broadened the strike across the Assam West Bengal line, that Brahmaputra Valley line. He's very importantly that nobody knows, even I didn't knew when I was researching, and I got one material from the Guwahati High Court Bar, that he was a member and the part of the first committee to draft the Constitution of India in the year 1928. And Phukan played a very vital role as a mediator during Orissa and the Bihar separation dispute, and which I could only get this material from our own very old library of Guwahati Bar Association. Sri Phukan, with few legal luminaries, thought that there were no college that time, law colleges in Assam, particularly in the northeast zone belt. So they said, why not we have our own law college, so that the students who are going out of the state are not deprived of their legal education. So they have really convinced that time the one of the Britishers who were very favor of imparting legal education. So they have started collaborating with Mr. Earl, and then they have formed Earl Law College. Now it is known as a BRM Law College, which is the oldest law colleges in India. And I must say that now they have celebrated 100 years of the existed. And Mr. Phukan also he also gave a lecture in that law college. Now, coming back to his work, he was also a very social worker, scholar. I would name him, he was a social reformer. He really worked very hard to eradicate the untouchability and also the consumption and practice and cultivation of opium, because that zone has a lot of cultivation in the opium, and because of that many had suffered a lot. They were addicted. There was no de-addiction any kind of de-addiction program there. So he really marched to really help those people, and I would say that he was the first person in the northeastern region to establish a leper asylum, which really had have saved many people's life. So that is his, apart from a freedom struggle, he has a social bent of mind. And he also, he possesses also a great knowledge in the Assamese literature. And I must share that when he was in the jail, he used to write poem and book on this freedom struggles, how they've been doing it. And it has really now, it has come into a literature called Kuhutia poem. And he wrote a very, very devotional and very touching a book which is called Stitimala, which defined how they have struggled in the jail, and how things were rolling down their thoughts and all. It's I was very touched when I've read that book, and I think I must say that this kind of book should be available in large in all the good libraries. We have this kind of books. And yes, of course, now going apart and beyond this, that Tarun Ram Phukan was a legendary in himself, a far-sighted visionary and uncompromising stance, who played a very remarkable role in motivating the youth to freedom struggle. And he took his last breath on 20th July 1939, and he was awarded the title of Patriot. And I must share this, and I feel it's a matter of pride that in the year 1921, his death anniversary has been celebrated as a Deshbhakti Divas and Patriotism Day. So this is quite a remarkable year to be remembered, and to pay tribute also and homage. And the government has commemorated a postal stamp in his name, which is issued in the year 1977, and also an indoor stadium has been named after him. So it's quite a matter of pride. And I must share a small incident of Shri Phukanji. He was so deeply in love with the soil of Assam that he politely refused the proposal given by Shri Ravindranath Tagore that, "Would you marry my daughter?" He asked, and I quote unquote, he politely said, "Robin Kaka, I have family in Assam." So, that much of, he had so much of dedication and attachment to his native state. And with this in mind, through this platform of Friday Group, I really urged in every law colleges, this unsung heroes and legends from different states should be recognized, their massive contribution, not only in the legal field, but also they have contributed a lot in the societal change, and should be brought into the legal syllabus of the law, so that the young lawyers, the students gets motivated and inspired with this kind of dedication and inspiration what we get. Thank you, Friday Group, for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, Sneha. The way you explained about attachment and love, his love with Assam land. So this is the stories we can learn from our local people. The way you have taken unsung heroes, we are very grateful to you, and you initiated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now we'll go for Jyoti Parashar and her freedom fighter chosen by Baba Moolchand Jain. Please come, Jyoti. Can you help her? Come. Sneha, can you help her?
Yeah.
Putting this. Just. Yes, perfect. Right. Good. Good side. Come.
I'm also shivering because it's not easy to hold this mic and this chair. It's a greatness
No, we'll give you a
of
clap
Friday Group.
so that your fear will go. We are here, Jyoti, we'll take care everything. That's what one of the reason to allow all
sir.
of you.
Very good evening to everyone, respected seniors, Sheshu sir, and the members of this academic group. I am here to speak few lines about the speaker Babu Moolchand Jain. Babu Moolchand Jain was born on 20th August 1915 in a village called Sikandarapur Majra in the city of Gohana in district Sonipat. He topped his village primary school. He received his bachelor's degree in 1935 from SD College, Lahore, now in Pakistan. Babu Moolchand Jain, lovingly called Babuji. He was a freedom fighter in the Indian independence movement, Indian statesman, parliamentarian, lawyer, satyagrahi, social activist, and a kind family man dedicated to the ideals and principles of Mahatma Gandhi. His contribution to the freedom movement, value-based politics, to the formation of Haryana, as well as to the cause of downtrodden and oppressed will remain ever fresh in public's memory. He worked closely with erstwhile Prime Minister Mr. Jawahar Lal Nehru as a Member of Parliament. Served as a Cabinet Minister during multiple periods in both joint Punjab and Haryana. He was imprisoned several times, including during both pre-independence and post-independence struggles. His biography, राजनीति के संत स्वतंत्रता सेनानी बाबू मूलचंद जैन, was released on October 10, 2017. As a child, Babuji had to walk for 5 miles to attend school but topped every level of examination and went on to become a gold medalist in law at Punjab University, Lahore. Despite family responsibilities and resistance from his parents, he immersed himself into non-violent freedom movement in 1937. In 1939, he was left unconscious during Asodha Satyagraha movement by the assailants who assumed he had died. With permission from Gandhi in 1941, he courted, arrested as an individual satyagrahi. After his release, encouragement of his fellow freedom fighters, he moved to Karnal in 1942 to rejuvenate freedom struggle among youth in a completely new era of Haryana. In 1937, he started his law practice in Gohana. In 1939, he was seriously injured and assumed dead at village Asoda in Rohtak when hundreds of volunteers of freedom movements were attacked by the followers of Jamindara legal who were armed with local metallic weapons including bhalas, barchas and gandasas. Gandasas is a machine which we use for the food of the cows and buffaloes. So in Haryana we call it gandase se maar dunga. He started law practice in Karnal but continued active participation in the freedom movement. He was elected General Secretary of District Congress also. In the period 1948 to 1965, after independence, he was first elected General Secretary and later President of the District Indian National Congress Committee, Karnal. He was also General Secretary of the Kasturba Gandhi National Memorial Fund Committee and the Gandhi National Memorial Fund Committee in 1948-49. He edited a weekly newspaper Balidan during the year 1948 to 52 while he led Old Tenants movement in Karnal. In 1952, he was elected to the Punjab Legislative Assembly from Sambhalka and took active part in the proceedings of the Assembly. In March 1956, he was included in the cabinet of Pratap Singh Carroll state government as Excise and Taxation and Public Works Department Minister. Babu Moolchand Jain. In 1957, he was elected Member of Indian Parliament from Kaithal. He was also convener of Finance Standing Committee along with Shri Morarji Desai, the then Finance Minister of India. After the formation of Panchayati Raj committees in Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh, Babuji was made one of the member of 5-member committee constituted by Nehruji to look after the affairs of Panchayati Raj committees in these states. This committee submitted its report to the Prime Minister after visiting Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat. In 1962, he fought Sardar Pratap Singh Carroll for his involvement in the murderous attack on Ram Paira, MLA of Punjab. His contribution for Haryana during 1965 to 67, Babuji actively directed the campaign for creation of a separate Haryana state. He was the General Secretary of All Party Haryana Action Committee, which was presided by Chaudhry Devi Lal. Babuji then joined the Lok Sabha and became the Vice President of Haryana Pradesh Lok Dal. In 1985-87, he played a major role in the Nyay Yudh movement launched by Chaudhry Devi Lal of the Rajiv Longawal Punjab Accord. He was a member of the Executive Committee of Haryana Sangharsh Samiti and was imprisoned several times during that agitation. After the formation of the government of Chaudhry Devi Lal, Babuji's services to Haryana was recognized and he was appointed Deputy Chairman of the State Planning Board, Haryana. Babuji took active part in the movement launched by Shri Jai Prakash Narayan during the year 1973-75 and after proclamation of emergency in June 1975, he was arrested immediately and was detained for more than 19 months in multiple far-off jails of Haryana. His contribution towards the public service and rural library movements. In 1990, Diamond Jubilee of Babuji was celebrated at a huge public gathering in Karnal, where an Abhinandan Granth was presented to him by the people of Haryana as a token of love and regard and recognition of his services to the state. Babuji was deeply concerned with improving the education system of the nation. He considered moral education and library movement as the most important factors necessary to transform the education system. In 1991, he established a library and a reading room in his native village, Sikandrapur, Majra in Gohana, Sonipat. This library is regarded as the best library in rural Haryana. The residents of this village celebrate the birthday of Babuji as Library Day every year. Babuji worked for the Sarva Seva Sangh and was a special invitee to its executive meetings until the end of his life. He was the founder trustee and an active member of the governing body of Maharaja Agrasen Medical and Research Institution. Babuji was also a life member of the executive committee of Dayanand's Sanitary Dental College Yamunanagar, chairman of North India Freedom Fighter Association and chairman of State Azadi Bachao Andolan Samiti Haryana till his death. His contribution towards the international engagements in November 1996, Babuji visited USA as a member of Guru Gobind Singh Foundation to celebrate the 300th anniversary of Khalsa Panth and to celebrate 1999 as the year of human spirit. While in USA, he studied deeply the constitution of USA, France and other countries in a quest to search for the solutions to Indian problems of corruption, criminalizations of politics and instability of central and the state governments. And at the end of his life, at the last year of his life, on 14th August 1997, about a month before his death, Babuji joined Haryana Vikas Party. Chaudhry Bansi Lal, Chief Minister of Haryana, visited his native village Sikandrapur Majra as chief guest to bless him on his 82nd birthday and laid a commemorative stone on the wall of village Chopal from where Babuji had courted arrest on 6th March 1941 during Satyagraha. One more special thing which I have not written in my article. Babuji, lot of schools, colleges, hospitals, even metro station also constructed on his name. Moolchand Jain Hospital at Gannor, Sonipat, Moolchand Jain Metro Station, ITI College at Karnal and Government High School, Sikandrapur Majra and many more. Thank you everyone. Thank you Sheshu sir for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Jyoti Parashar. The way you choose an unsung hero, Babu Moolchand Jain. She got first prize.
Yes.
Because last minute what happened, Shobha Gupta had matter, she thought some other this thing. Then I requested Jyoti because she stood first, so naturally it will be extempore. So naturally it is extempore. You have delivered very well. The entire information, you are fully satisfied. You are. Now I request Shobha Gupta, please come and her freedom fighter is Padmshree Pandit Devi Shankar Tiwari. Please come. 1 second.
So sir is going to sign the book first for me.
Jyoti, please come. Can you help her?
I have to just put it with me.
Yeah. Okay. बार निकल रहा है.
I'll do it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Is it good enough?
No.
Let me.
Straight.
Okay, this way. Is it okay now?
It's okay. Perfect.
So, good evening everyone. The seniors, the very senior, and all the friends, Sheshu sir certainly, the guide, the leader. And so, but before I begin, I'll actually take a signature, sir's signature on the book.
I'm not that big, but still you are.
Condition precedent.
So यहाँ होना चाहिए ना? ऐसा होना
Okay.
So I was not taking the book unless I actually have this. Got it. Sir has signed this now. So this book now belongs to me. I own this.
Could you please show us the message?
Oh,
message
yes.
only
He
autograph.
hasn't written the message. He should have written the message also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the proud owner of this book now.
Shobha, this is
My-
within your 10 minutes.
Yes, sir. I'll finish that. Don't worry, I'll do that.
Yeah, you're rightly said.
I have, see, this book contains 68 articles, chapters. I have written one, which is at item number 34, page 119 to 123. Now, the command was, or the order to us was, that try to get someone, find out someone from your own state, a lawyer and a freedom fighter. Me being a feminist, searched hard to find a woman and who is a freedom fighter and lawyer too. It looks like those days women were not actually studying law. So I could not find any. So maybe that is something addition we are going to do now. Taking a leaf from here, I might come out with some book where we are collecting all women freedom fighters who might not have studied law, but yes, contributed immensely. And I can't tell you, when I was actually doing this research, so I could lay hands to one great freedom fighter, Padmshree, Pandit Devi Shankarji Tiwari. The contribution is immense, and I was feeling so ashamed living in the same state, Rajasthan, and I come from Rajasthan, and how come I did not know about such a legendary figure? Somebody who contributed, brought us the freedom we are enjoying it today. We claim we enjoy Article 21, we enjoy Article 14, go fight for it and actually earn our bread and butter also through it. You know, so many of us filed it petitions and get our fee. But those rights were given to us by those great legendaries who not only studied law, but at their young age, very young age, he was born in 1903, and by the age of 27 when he studied law, before that he was already in freedom fighter movement. He was contributing in several ways. And can you imagine, we are hardly working in courts, coming here, doing our matters, going back and doing some office work, and we are exhausted for the day. And these great people were doing law, getting good relief to their clients. He was one of the prominent lawyer there in Rajasthan. At the same time, they rose to height. They have contributed to freedom fighter. I'll just read few portions from the book. The contribution is so immense, and then at the same time they rose to statures. He was an entrepreneur too. So one wonders, how are they able to do all that? Because of their possible passion, love, dedication, commitment, feel, belongingness to the country, which I don't know how many of us have. They could die for the country, but they lived for the country and brought the changes. And I'll just read few portions. You know, I thought I'll remember it, but it's difficult. Their work is so large, you just can't remember it by words. Okay, few lines here and there. I'll read few portions. But before that, Sneha told me that Sheshu sir had directed all of them minus me to to carry a photograph. So I thought I'll just save the photograph of the legend, and that's an honor to me also to have the photograph like this. So I'm showing to all of you.
YouTube will take care of everything.
This is Pandit Devi Shankarji Tiwari. Now, I'm just reading few of it. He was a lawyer, a great visionary, freedom fighter, and to my liking, a women rights activist. So I couldn't find a woman who is a lawyer too and a freedom fighter. But yes, he was a great women rights activist in himself and an educationist. He studied law, he had been to courts, he won matters for his clients. He was, in addition to it, a brilliant speaker. he was someone who contributed in Quit India movement, Kuwait, Rajasthan. So he played a role in Rajasthan. He was a firm believer that you cannot treat women lesser. You cannot have two different yardsticks between two of your children, a man and a woman, or a girl or a boy child. So he fought for equality. He said, don't consider women as a financial liability of your family. Educate them. Larger or expand their vision and make sure that they are becoming one of the player who plays a role in making of the nation or nation building. Not only that, we had in Rajasthan, we had a Praja Mandal, that was a political organization. He was member of Indian National Congress. He worked in aid with Mahatma Gandhi ji. And that Praja Mandalam was actually being taking guidance from Jawaharlal Nehru ji, our first Prime Minister. And so many legendary lawyers from Rajasthan. I wish I could wrote about them, but other members were writing about them. So I had to just stick to him alone. I wanted to add all of their names. So I actually added their name, Daulatmal ji Bhandari, Gulab Chand ji, and he himself, Tiwari Sahab. He has constituted not only the political forum led there, he was greatly impressed by a farmers' movement against Britishers, which we are having now. We had just last year one. And he was so deeply impressed that farmers who are not educated, but they are not giving up. They can think of their right, they can claim their right, they can fight for it. And which became a turning point in life to actually work for the right of people. And he came out not only to be a lawyer but to be a freedom fighter too. He was first education minister in Rajasthan. So when I said he rose to, it's not only worked well, but he rose to heights also. He has established colleges especially for women education in Rajasthan. That's not one but several, including in UP. So his ambit had gone beyond state of Rajasthan to different states also. His institutions are still working, and I wish to go to Jaipur, Banswara, meet his children who are still running the institution and hand over this book with all respect and token of thanks to them. I'm actually going to do that. If Sheshu sir can come along with me, please do come. But we should be doing it with a token of thanks that not only he contributed so immensely, but he made sure that the women education is still continuing, and which is doing a great work, being recognized, and for all his contribution, he has been lately awarded Padmshree also, one of the highest civilian recognition of the country. I'm so thankful for the opportunity given. I was personally advocating this thing that not only we write about them, we speak about them. Because nowadays the generations are happy in, listening videos. They may not take out time to read. So it might help us. We must continue to do this, do more research, have more articles, add more names. Let there be series of such books with us. Not only by the Supreme Court, I would be requesting, let us go to all High Court Chief Justices. Tell them that one such book has come, let's create more. Let's create a compendium of all such work which would contribute immensely. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you very much, Shobha ji.
Humble.
Earlier lectures are so very good, the way you addressed us. You're doing well. Now it's final. Thank you very much. We'll give you a huge claps to all the speakers.